Hello, everyone. My name is Andy, and I'm a sophomore student at the University of Washington. Today is the first of my public lectures that I'm exploring some issues of our educational systems. And today our topic is how different grading technique or evaluations affect the student learning process and mental health and everything. And way back, I was eighth grade. I was back in China where we are under the influence of like score oriented education. And lots of people, and they may think, well, because the score oriented education just to give you a force, the student they can study harder, work harder, and get a good grade and getting top college and high schools. But I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of score-oriented education. Not because I'm not like a test taker, or I'm just to think that I'm not a fit. That I can't like acing every single exam and get a full penalty, get an A, then get into Harvard Ivy Leagues. That's not my dream. That is, and that's not part of my ideology. That is, I need to be acing everything. And later I came to the United States. I found the education is a way more beneficial person like me because I'm maybe not like intelligent like the kids who are always getting A's and getting computer science major at UW. I feel like do a lot of extra curriculars that I just enrich my life because I am a student, also a part of our society that just beside learn and beside and beside to learn to get good grade, I would just to think what they can do to make some contributions to it. I want to do some meaningful things, but how I can do it? This education system still have lots of holes that need to be fixed because of racism, the lack of equality and equity, a lot of things that be and we may not perceive. And the the evaluation of the outcome is like a major issue here. And I know some schools they don't use like 100-point scale where you have from F as 0% to the A plus 100%. There are 101 possible scores. And there are lots of combinations here. We use like a letter grade and with plus and minuses from A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, C, D, etc. We have 13 different levels from A plus to F. But also just found that is controversy it is if we define A letter grade means above average is consistent, demonstrating outstanding performance. I maybe say it's like a 90%. But and if each letter grade takes 10% of the scale. If 90% is an A, 80% is a B, 70% is a C, then 60% is a D. Why F it is occupying more than half of this 100-point scale? And I think it is contradictory, right? So if you take a test, and there are 10 questions, each question worth 2 points, and there are 20 points. And then 20 points total. If you answer half of the question and you got 10 out of 20, that is an F. And if you just think that I got half of the questions right, why am I getting F? Teacher, just the same, because you have a 50%, that's an F. No, I don't think that person deserves an F because I only answered half of them right. Because maybe because there are 5 hardest questions, maybe their tests are divided into 2 different parts, easy and hard. If they get easy part correct, they should get at least like C level because they demonstrate some mastery of the learning. And later, we introduce a curve-based, which your final score, it is totally dependent on the rest of the class. So if you're having class like 85 people, and to get an A, you have to be the top 20. If your overall score ranked 21st, I'm sorry that you will get a B. It seems so sad, right? That is, I put so many effort that I put so many effort to learn this and to learn this subject that I got a 95%. Why deserve a B? The answer is like, might be obvious, might be a heartbreaking. It's like, you were not top 20. Man. I mean, this is harsh. And it also just think like in a higher education that when it comes to like weed out classes, that to make sure to remain this capacity constraint major remain competitive on their reputation. You have to have some DFW rate, which is D for drop rate. That you must keep a certain amount of people that they are not allowed to move on to more advanced courses. And to me, it is totally reasonable. And you have to have a foundation to do well in higher level classes. But the weed out classes is like using like grading scale. It is you treat your classmate as a rivalry that if you do well and you want to get an A, you have to beat the majority of your classmate. So for example, if you have a math class with 120 people, if you're the median, that you will get a 2.9, which is B letter grade, it seems okay. I got a B, not bad, but what's your percentage grade, right? If the median grade is like 94%, you probably feel like irritated or shocked if you have a B for 90%. And one thing I noted that the curve is it just separate people of color and intelligent white and Asian people into two different parts. Smart kids move on. Other people just stay back. It seems normal, but I I hate it. It's like some people just take time to learn. Some people learn in like different way, or maybe they just not a fit for those level of competitiveness. Maybe they're passionate in software engineering. Maybe they're a passionate educator. Maybe they're passionate or ambitious computer scientist or entrepreneur. And then curve hinder their pathway to pursue their further academics. And I understand that you want to remain in competition. But the evaluation exercise, it seems to really provide a friendly and is inclusive environment for people of color or people with learning disabilities to learn in a normal environment. And I just think like lots of people, they change their major, that they just drop the class. It might be two reasons. One, the teacher does not know how to teach. Number two, they studied too hard but didn't get the grade they want. Or the class is just hard overall. This might be the two of the like the largest reason why people drop the class. And it seems contradictory that people take some class that they don't need to take. But how the class is evaluated, how the class is taught, can make a major influence on students' learning experiences and mental development. Fortunately, Assistant Professor Kevin Lin in Computer Science Department introduced a master-based grading and now implemented into Computer Science 142, 143, 163, and 373. Those Java programming courses. Earlier in 2020, CSE 142 and 143 are the gatekeeper for many engineering majors or computer science major admissions. To remain those major competitive, they have to go harsh. But it turns out like it's not beneficial to learn some codings because people have no coding experience, they're just already fall behind. And the course moves fast. And will they never catch up or catch up those things just before the final? It's still questionable. We define like a learning curve here. This end for those smart kids who are going to get a 4.0 or with a lot of programming experience before entries. The left end is where people like me have no coding experiences before entering 142 with an empty brain. Who will move forward? Who will fall behind? Ideally, we are all learning, improving, reaching our higher end, our dream. But the curve keep us just stuck on the hill. They're moving forward and we are stuck here. That was the reality. Most UW students never know the pain taking the without classes. You have the knowledge, you have those tests, you have the student, but you need some equity in your education. That you need to provide enough resources to students to do well in the class. I know you want to be fair. I know you want to make the course challenging. But the lack of education equity is one of the main problems that we face in a modern higher education or K-12 education. This is a problem we need to fix. And because I define effective education as the process and the methodology that is beneficial to everyone in this institution. Otherwise, I would not call it effective. Under the newly renovated computer science course, introductory Java programming. Instead, we are doing 2 final exam, a midterm, high stake, and homework grading harshly. We are doing 8 take-home assessment paired with the submission processes where we can learn from our mistake. The process allows us to read our feedback from our teaching assistant and resubmit your work and your code for improvement. This sounds more natural to our learning process because we learn from our mistake. And why just punish people for making a mistake, right? Because we are not naturally born. We're not naturally born genius. How the expert is made is by practice, repetition, repetitive practice, the reflection from our mistake. 2 hours is repetition and the reflection make people being smart, being expert. The master-based grading gives E, S, and U instead of A, B, C, D, F. And by the end of the quarter, we will receive a final grade that is accurate about like a rubric outlined. I found this MBG is more beneficial to our learning process, especially for introductory level courses. Because you may not come to like a perfect answer the first attempt. I totally understand that everybody have their way of learning. And if you just like give a C, give an F, just to tell them that you're not fit for computer science, that ruins a passion for pursuing advanced majors or the master courses. What my dream is, be passionate about education, about like teaching the course. Because I want every student just to not lose their passion and persistent to pursue their further academics. I don't care about how many mistakes you made. I do care whether you have a happy learning experiences or not. I want everyone to stay mentally healthy. And I want education to be equitable. I want the evaluation to be fair to everyone, because everyone, they deserve the grade earned with their true effort. And I just think there are lots of improvement for other STEM classes, but how computer science, they take the first move, is a wonderful indication of improvement of our STEM education and higher education. We are encouraging students to learn, to explore, to reflect on their mistakes. That's how people learn. And master-based and MBG eliminates the pressure and tension between the instructor and the student. Because you may have people that by the end of a semester or quarter that, okay, professor, I have an 89.99% here. Could you please round me up to the A minus? Well, this is a tough question to answer. If I just say no, I don't want to hurt them. But if I just round them up, I definitely feel it's unfair, because if I want to add bonus point, it should be everyone. Everyone get the bonus point. Instead of a no, I would tell them, unfortunately, I cannot be impartial. I cannot be partial to some student, because I want to be fair to everyone in the class. You get what you earned. 89.9% is a B plus. It's not a bad grade. You will get an A minus in future if you put more effort on there. And the 1B plus will not ruin your entire college life. It's a starting point, and where we can rethink your learning habit to redesign your path to your college life. It's a starting point where you can make any miracle happens. I definitely understand Last point of this public lecture. If I redesign Math 124, the first quarter calculus into the same format of Math 20 of CSE 142, I would not make hard ass exams with timed high pressure, like in-person exam, high stake. No, that's not my goal. My philosophy is education is a process which both the instructor and student need to learn that by interaction, communication, compassion, and understanding. We are we are striving to the highest point of our life. Education is not elimination, oppression, or discrimination. And I want education to be a happy and meaningful learning experiences on their way to later in life. I want everybody have a positive influence on their education journey as a student. Lastly, I want to say that nothing is perfect, and we are not perfect naturally, but we can learn, then reflect to make our education system as perfect as possible. Starting with redesigning STEM education. That's the first step you're going to do in our higher education. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you guys tomorrow in our public lecture 2. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.